Welcome back to my Vision News. Some news stories for you. Firstly, PM Abiy chaired a meeting of Ethiopian federal cabinet and peace agreements implementation was discussed. Edwan Hussein and Justice Minister briefed the participants about ongoing implementation. Is the government satisfied with the implementation? Details for you. Secondly, uh, Jawar a few hours ago shared some numbers. Number of IDP camps in Oromia, number of displacements, number of cases of gender-based violence details. And thirdly, Daniel Bakele, Ethiopian Human Rights Commission chief, today denied any genocide in Ethiopia. There is no genocide happening in Ethiopia. That is what he said. And we are seeing a campaign against him since Daniel Bakele's talk was aired a few hours ago. And lastly, viewers, Somalia, where now when an operation against Al-Shabaab is underway, whoever is trying to meet with Al-Shabaab fighters, maybe to find a peaceful solution, is being arrested. Firstly, PM Abiy today chaired a meeting of Ethiopian Federal Cabinet of Ministers. Ridwan Hussein, National Security Advisor, Justice Minister Gideon Timotheus, and others briefed the participants about the implementation of the peace deal and what happened in Nairobi, where talks were held last week between Tigray regional government and Ethiopian federal government, encouraging developments that after this meeting of the cabinet, Ethiopian government issued a statement saying that the government was fully committed to the implementation of the agreement and that government was satisfied with the implementation. It means that Ethiopian federal government does not have any serious concerns about Tigray People Innovation Fund's intent regarding the implementation. The federal government a few days ago issued a statement urging Tigray regional government to take action regarding some armed robberies ongoing in Tigray. But in this statement of today, government's tone is very positive, very optimistic that everything is happening according to the plan and that Nairobi 2 talks went well. And after that, implementation is ongoing satisfactorily. Secondly, viewers, Jawar today shared some numbers, number of displaced persons, number of displaced households, number of cases of gender-based violence in Oromia. He says these are official figures. Don't know what is his source. And figures from last month. He claims that last month's figure indicate that in Oromia, around 1 million people have been displaced. 200,000 households displaced, 1 million people displaced, including children, women, elderly. And around 24,000 cases of gender-based violence against women have been reported. 136 IDP sites are operating in Oromia. He said cost of brutal civil war in Oromia is staggering. And the victims are receiving little to no assistance. This last sentence from Jawar is alarming if it is true. He said, victims are receiving little to no assistance. 24,000 victims of gender-based violence. Are they receiving no assistance from the government? Don't know about these numbers. I think Jawar is trying to fulfill the responsibility of an opposition leader by just sharing statements. If there is crisis in a country, if people are suffering, what is the responsibility of opposition political parties? What is opposition for in countries, in democracies? Opposition parties stand for the people. They challenge, they question policies of the government. That is why they are in politics, that they fight for their people. Is just issuing of statements enough? Is that what an opposition leader, aspirant of becoming a PM is expected to do? Shouldn't he do more? If he is a genuine opposition leader, if he cares for the people of Oromia, Ethiopia, he will have to lead his people for a peaceful struggle. No one is asking Jawar to take up arms. But leaders have to take risks. Jawar was in prison last year. In January, he was released from prison. And these days, he's not in Ethiopia. I think he's in Kenya, reportedly. He isn't returning to Ethiopia. Sitting abroad and climbing mountains in Tanzania, he's issuing statements. I think genuine opposition leaders will have to be with the people of Oromia, with the people of Ethiopia as well. He's not just an Oromo. He's seen as a leader with potential of becoming a national leader. Why is that he's not sharing any numbers from Amhara region, from Tigray, Western PR? Ethiopia needs national leadership, not the leaders restricted to regions, to zones, to ethnic groups. Jawar's popularity declined in the last few months after his release. He's trying to recover. But can just issuing of statements help him recover his losses in popularity? Or will he have to do more? That remains to be seen. But thirdly, viewers, Daniel Bakele, Human Rights Commission of Ethiopia's chairperson, today denied all forms of genocide in Tigray, in Ethiopia, sorry. No genocide is happening against any group in Ethiopia. He said that atrocities being committed against some ethnic groups cannot be declared as genocide. These atrocities don't qualify to be called a genocide. Tigrayans say the genocide of Tigrayans is being committed. Amhara say that Amhara genocide is being committed in Valaga, other parts of Ethiopia. Oromos say the same, Agos too, other groups too. But Daniel Bakele today denied all these claims. He said atrocities are being committed, but no genocide. Problem is that in one area, one ethnic group members are victims. In some other areas, they're aggressors. That is why we cannot say that one group is the target of all ethnic cleansing activities. It cannot be said. Yes, Tigrayans have suffered in the last 2 years more than other groups. Thousands were arrested, detained, put in prison, some died as well. But still, those were arrested who were suspicious of having links with TPLF or who were seen as likely recruits for Tigray Defense Force. Tens of thousands of others were not arrested. Some Tigrayans are working with the government, part of federal government. We cannot say that genocide of Tigrayans has been committed or genocide of Amharas, Oromo is being committed. That is what Daniel Bakele said. That I have been saying for months, So Tigrayans and now Maharas, they don't agree with me. Lastly, viewers, in Somalia, where an operation against Al-Shabaab is ongoing, any meetings with Al-Shabaab are being seen as having signs of sympathy for Al-Shabaab. 3 tribal elders have been arrested in Galmudug state of Somalia. The tribal elders were arrested in Adado district. They went to meet with Al-Shabaab fighters, maybe for reconciliation, to find a peaceful solution to the conflict, but they have been arrested. State media is showing their pictures. You can see their pictures. So in Somalia now, any type of engagement other than military engagement is being seen as a disloyalty. Those who are sharing Al-Shabaab's, those who are sharing news reports about Al-Shabaab's activities are being charged with anti-state offenses. Those meeting Al-Shabaab fighters are now being arrested. The elders are not Al-Shabaab members. They are being portrayed as having sympathy for Al-Shabaab. Maybe in coming months, we could see federal government and Al-Shabaab sit at the table. We could see that. Taliban sat with Americans. You saw that. In Doha, they held several talk sessions. Ultimately, after talks, Americans withdrew. In other countries of the world as well, we saw that talks were held between states and non-state actors. In Pakistan as well, talks were held between Pakistani Taliban and Pakistani authorities. It happens. These tribal elders who were arrested in Galmudug, are they sympathizers? Are they supporters of Al-Shabaab? If they just went to find a peaceful solution to the conflict, they shouldn't be portrayed as Al-Shabaab sympathizers. Reportedly, they went to meet with Al-Shabaab fighters to find a way out of the crisis. They're being arrested. And we know that Somalia's government has made it mandatory for the journalists that Al-Shabaab fighters should be addressed as Kharjis, non-Muslim. Kharjis means non-Muslims who are no more Muslims. So they cannot be addressed as Al-Shabaab. They are addressed as Kharjis by journalists who are covering their Al-Shabaab's activities. So government has put in place some very strict rules regarding the coverage of Al-Shabaab's activities. Hassan Sheikh government is committed to the ongoing military operation against Al-Shabaab. But maybe in future, the government will have to sit with Al-Shabaab. That is why elders should not be declared as sympathizers if they just went there to find a peaceful solution to the conflict. Thank you for watching.